Bizzarp.
Hey! Welcome to the Bizzarp Podcast, your source for all things geek. We are your hosts. I'm Davey.
I'm Amanda.
Tonight's episode is about some exciting Halloween news to get you in the spirit. Kind of our pre-Halloween episode. We will be doing a Halloween episode, but we're that excited about Halloween. The Bizzarp Podcast is part of the Bizzarp Network. You can find this podcast and other goodies at bizzarp.com. You can also email us at feedback@bizzarp.com. So, welcome back to the podcast, Amanda.
It's been a while. I'm excited.
Yeah, although now you're a little bit
It's been a crazy month.
little bit annoyed with me because we're using Google Hangouts for the first time.
Because I have no idea how this works. I think it literally took us about 10 minutes just to get in on the call. Like, that was
Yeah, it was a lot of back and forth. We'll get there, though. Yeah.
That was Anyways, Google Hangouts aside, Halloween.
Yeah.
Ooh. And I would like to make a friendly reminder that Fatal Frame 2 is going to be coming out on Fatal Frame 5 will be coming out October 22nd. Okay? You're gonna love it. Okay? First 2 chapters are free. You got a Wii U? Go for that.
Yeah, everyone, this is my wife reminding me to buy Fatal Frame 5.
It is. It is.
I was really stoked for that game, though.
I'm very, very excited, especially as Halloween comes upon us. It's going to be the perfect time for a new Fatal Frame game. They're geniuses.
Yeah. And one more thing before we jump into this. I really wish Mother Creepypasta could have been on this show.
There's a lot that we've got going on today is definitely right up your alley. And we might need to retouch again. Because our very first subject today, our very first topic, is going to be the American Horror Story Hotel. And so far, we're a couple episodes in, and it is just absolutely magnificent.
Yeah, and this is our first kind of foray into American Horror Story. We tried to watch Coven, didn't get very far, but really think this one we're gonna stick with it and watch the whole season.
I'm not gonna lie, a very, very huge part of that is Lady Gaga. She is just fabulous.
Yeah, she does a really good job playing a I don't know what she is exactly. Probably a vampire.
But it was so made for Gaga. It's all so wonderful, and she's doing a really good job. And I just
my one complaint, and I kind of agree with people online who are saying that her acting is a bit flat, but I mean, I don't know what you expect. This is, I believe, her first time acting, except for some of her music videos. They were pretty elaborate.
I kind of disagree. I think that the way that she's acting makes the character. But I know that a lot of people aren't really agreeing with me on that, but I like how she's doing it. And I'm wondering how she's going to go with it. So, I think it's a little too early to really tell. But yeah. I'm very happy with it so far. I'm enamored.
Now, just to give everybody a heads up, it is a very twisted and gory show, so definitely don't watch this with kids around if you're not aware.
American Horror Story is normally not very bad. I mean, it does get graphic, it does get really, really messed up, but this is definitely the most extreme. I mean, we're talking rated M for mature very easily. And it's on cable and not on HBO, and that's weird.
Yeah, it's on FX.
Yeah, let's.
Which they get away with a lot of stuff. Like they did Sons of Anarchy, which was a very violent show with a lot of nudity as well. But
this is intense, though.
And I don't mean to be the Debbie Downer of the episode, I guess, but another complaint I have about the show, I loved and I've only seen the first episode, mind you, loved it, but I don't like the cop so far. I I feel like everything he does is just stupid fucking mistakes. Like, trying to be all super cop, like going into a place, completely alone. I don't want to give away spoilers here, but just, I don't know, a lot of dumb mistakes. And also it might get better as the show goes on, but the way he's playing it is very over the top cliche-ish.
Yeah.
Which it does fit sort of the stylized.
That's what I was going to say. I think it's stylized on purpose, though. I don't think it's meant to mimic real life. I think it's more meant to mimic, like classic, like the classic cop movie. I think that's what it's mimicking, not real life.
Oh, okay.
And it makes more sense that way, and it's more enjoyable because you're Debbie Downer.
I criticize things.
You do, and I believe you're being unnecessarily harsh, but you're always unnecessarily harsh, so...
Well...
Not always, but on this I think that you're being quite a bit better.
Well, somebody's got to be. Anyway, so check out American Horror Story Hotel. It was really good.
It's it's a specialized taste, so just be very aware of that. If you're not into the gory kind of stuff, it's probably not for you this season.
Yeah. So in a little bit of a lighter side of Halloween, there's some Simpsons Treehouse of Horror news. Apparently, along with the Treehouse of Horror, they're going to be doing a Halloween of Horror special, and it's going to be a full episode instead of the individual stories, and it will actually be apparently canon to the Simpsons universe, I guess.
Like Treehouse of Horror is always very over the top. It's never, never serious. And they have Christmas specials and Thanksgiving specials and stuff, and this is more along the lines of that. And it's nice to know. I was nervous when I first started reading about it. I was worried that they were maybe getting rid of Treehouse of Horrors, but this is just an addition, and that's an interesting way to go.
Yeah.
Something they haven't done, and that's amazing. That after all this time, there's still something they haven't done. So.
Yeah, and this airs this Sunday at 8 p.m. So just a week before Halloween. Apparently, there's going to be a lot of Rocky Horror Picture Show references. They've been heavily hinted at, which is awesome. I always love a good Rocky Horror Picture Show gag.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'll watch it.
Yeah, and then I'm more excited for Treehouse of Horror. I think that's just kind of a classic good time. And on to some very super exciting video game news, actually. The Friday the 13th video game has been greenlighted, and we're going to see it next fall. It's definitely a while away, but some of the stuff that they're kind of finally starting to leak out is really interesting sounding.
Yeah.
So the game is still going to be based up at Camp Crystal Lake. And it's an interesting take. It's more along the lines of, so you guys may know Evolution and Destiny, where they are a strictly multiplayer game. You have to play online. There's nothing you can do by yourself. And the reason being is that you have to play with a group of 8 people. One person gets to be Jason, and the other 7 people get to be a teenager. And the teenager's goal is to just make it out alive. And Jason's goal is to kill everybody, and you get to play against each other. And of course, Jason is going to be very much overpowered, but he's got the odds against him. So if you manage to work together against him, you could take him out. But it's kind of interesting how they were talking about in playthroughs that they've been doing, that it's just like people will be working together, and then Jason will show up, and you'll see them just scatter and forget each other.
I think that I am really, really excited for this game. It sounds kind of like Left 4 Dead, kind of a natural spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead. A horror game where you're basically playing a movie against the odds, but this is for a slasher. And One thing that I think is really a good idea on their part is to make every game will have a random drop map and have random items such as car parts to escape, weapons, phones, and that's really a solid idea because they want to keep it at Camp Crystal Lake, but you can't have it be the same map every time. And I wonder if they'll actually do DLC later on, where you'll have maps from maybe some of the other movies, and it'll still be randomized, but the location will be from a movie. But that's definitely the most memorable location from Friday the 13th, so it makes sense. And also, apparently, there's no time limit for the games, which is awesome. And now that I think about it, it could be a little bad because games could go on forever.
With one person just kind of running, but Jason is incredibly overpowered. So the thing is that once you start getting down to the last couple of people, any little mistake, any little trip up is going, apparently, in the game, what I thought was really cool is they said that some people will just, their plan is just, take off, just start sprinting around, right? And the more noise that you make, the faster you go and the more noise you make, the more that the person who's playing Jason can pinpoint you. So if you're if you're just booking it and you're making a bunch of noise and stuff, whoever's playing Jason's going to know where you are.
Makes sense.
That's in the way that the Jason character has to be overpowered. That is a little bit overpowered. And that's because if not, it would be very easy to beat. If he just had barely any more special abilities, it would be very easy to beat him. And they've said that there's been a lot of screaming too, so apparently it gets a little freaky.
Well, good. I hope the environment is very misty, and they use the environment to up the creepy factor, especially with graphics, next gen graphics and shit.
Some of the pictures are really, really amazing looking. And what I like is, you always see the people that after you watch a horror movie, they're like, oh, I wouldn't do that, or I wouldn't have done this, oh, that dumb kid. You finally have an opportunity to have a simulation of what you would actually do in a situation like that. And
yeah, exactly.
The thing is that everybody is a human. You're playing against real people, and you're not playing against a computer, and that's cool.
Yeah, and it should be pointed out, though, that you can play this online. You don't have to have 7 friends, because, who out there has...
Yeah, you can get in a game with random people, and that's probably what it's going to be most time. Just, if you want to play with a couple friends, you just open up the game, and then whatever spots you have open, you just fill with random people.
Yeah.
So... that's how it's going to go most of the time, but that's still really fun. You never know who you're going to play against and how they're going to act, and it makes it a lot more realistic, and I think it's going to add a lot of fun to it.
Oh yeah, and I wonder if when Jason catches one of the teenagers and kills them, if he can do a big kill move, slash off their head, or impale them over a spike or something crazy.
Yeah, I wonder if the deaths will be kind of stylized, once he catches you.
Because it's Friday the 13th, it should be super gory, you know.
I think I've never really wanted to play one of those strictly multiplayer games, the the Evolution. It looks really fun. I don't think that I'd play it much. I feel like I would play this all the time. I feel like my mom's probably gonna end up getting it, and I'm just gonna play with her online a lot. I feel like that's how that's gonna go.
So that comes out next fall. I think we've very well covered that. So the next news item here is Hack Slash is the newest comic to become a TV show, or in development to become a TV show. For anybody who doesn't know, Hack Slash is a horror comic that follows Cassie Hack, who was a stereotypical lone woman who survived the end of, horror movies, but instead of being a victim, she goes on a mission to enact revenge on classic horror movie villains such as Jason, Michael Myers. No idea when production will start, but this is definitely a show that I think could, go places. And the problem I see with this is like getting rights to do certain characters, because they had big movie villains like Michael Myers and Jason. So
yeah, but I mean, the comics had the rights to it, so I mean, they're probably going to end up paying more for the rights, but they already have relationships with everybody they would do. You already kind of have a foot in the door. You've already done a deal with them.
Yeah, and there's also nothing saying that it can't be they can't, do their own stories. Sort of it would kind of be like almost like Supernatural meets Buffy.
Yeah, and what's kind of exciting is that this is kind of showing maybe a trend towards, pop culture circling kind of back to like the Michael Myers and, Jason and Freddy, like that kind of like movie genre. I don't know what you would call that.
Slashers.
Yeah, it seems kind of like the trends are trending back to slashers. But like the most current one has been werewolves, and then vampires before that. It's been very supernaturally lately.
Yeah, and that is sort of dying down. I mean, Crimson Peak is coming out, but other than that, there haven't been a lot of major. The Conjuring 2 is coming out soon, which is really exciting, but yeah, that kind of...
The ghost stuff is kind of always popular. That's just kind of very stereotypical, but vampires and werewolves aren't always popular, and there hasn't really been a werewolf or vampire, like, movie in a while. I know there's been some shows, but even that's really kind of starting to die down, and
thank God.
Starting to notice a trend out of it in literature, too, a little bit as well.
I've never been a big vampire fan myself, personally, and so the whole huge vampire trend got so fucking annoying.
I thoroughly enjoyed both of them, I'm going to admit it. That's the kind of stuff that I'm really into, and I'm a little sad to see it go, because I guess as a kid a lot, when slashers used to be really big, I was a lot younger, I didn't really dig it.
Yeah.
For anybody who doesn't know, I'm really kind of a wuss, and I get scared really easy.
She does. Oh God, it's funny.
So slashers are just kind of not my thing. I've seen a lot of them, but I'd way rather watch like a vampire movie. That's more up my alley.
Yeah. See, I'm different. I love the old school slashers. Nightmare on Elm Street is one of my favorite horror movies. Just they were so imaginative, and imaginative in the ways that the villain killed people. But and for their time, they're really revolutionary and over the top and gory, which at that time you hadn't really seen before. So I love all the homages to old slashers like Hack and Slash and this new Friday the 13th game. I don't know if the genre will ever fully come back, though. It seems like generally audiences have kind of moved away from that. You can't really surprise people much more with slashers. That's why possession movies got really popular, I think.
Yeah, because it was a different. It was a much. That's starting to get that got very old because it went a little crazy. But slasher movies did that too. It was kind of everywhere, and that was the problem. But I don't know. I feel like it could circle back. I feel like given enough time, it could circle back, and I feel like maybe that time is getting a little closer, where we're kind of slowly going to see more of this stuff. It might not get as big as it was, but I think that it looks kind of like we're trending back towards it a little bit. Because you've said like even the American Horror Story Hotel is kind of slasherish. in a weird little bit of a way.
Yeah, it is. So far, it hasn't.
Not very. There's some good homages there, I feel.
Yeah, but it hasn't gone too far into like supernatural, like ghosts and stuff. I feel like it might get there, but yeah, so far it's been mainly just monsters killing people.
Yeah.
Which is what slashers are about. I think that's what made Jeepers Creepers so popular. And I know you hate those movies.
Oh, God.
But it was such a good return to the old, like, slasher movie where you had a monster that was, so over the top and unbeatable and terrifying, and, it was really gory and fun. And,
it was also very supernatural, too. It was very monstrous. And that kind of, it went right in between, like, the old classic slashers where that person was still human and more into where the world was heading, which was more paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't get me wrong, I don't want anybody to get mad. So I don't hate Jeepers Creepers because it's bad. I hate Jeepers Creepers because it's good and it scares the shit out of me. Like on a level that it probably shouldn't. I'm telling y'all right now, I'm a huge wuss.
Wuss.
I am. I don't even care. Nope.
Alright, so I think we should move on to the geek news here.
We do have some geek news, and our first bit is sad.
Yeah. So there was a rumor floating around the interwebs that Marvel and Fox had come to a kind of an agreement for the Fantastic Four. Sort of like what's going on with Spider-Man, Marvel and Sony. But apparently that is not true. Both studios are denying that rumor.
Yep. So, I mean, it's still, I guess they could be maybe doing the no, and then maybe like, surprise, JK, and we'll all be like, well, yeah. We knew. Well, we didn't believe you.
I mean, and in similar news, apparently Marvel and Fox have come to an agreement with X-Men, and there's going to be 2 X-Men TV shows coming out.
Yes. That's awesome.
Yeah, one is called Hellfire, focused on the Hellfire Club, and the other is called Legion. That one is a little vague as to what that'll be about, but this is really exciting because possibly this might lead to Marvel having more freedom with the X-Men and allowing them to do mutants. So maybe we could see Beast on the Avengers.
Wolverine is an Avenger.
Yeah, Wolverine on the event. But Wolverine on the... I'm not a big Wolverine fan. But I would actually like to see a different actor try out the role. I guess Tom Hardy has been rumored to be interested in it, which I think would be awesome. Tom Hardy as Amanda.
So these are both going to be live action X-Men shows? Oh, that's awesome. I thought they were animated. I was like, oh, cool.
No. Marvel's cool. Animated shows kind of suck.
They do. That's why I was like, oh, that's special.
Yeah, no.
No, that's way cooler though, so.
So another geek news, there's been some news about the new Nintendo's new console, which has been named so far NX. That's the working title for the console. Apparently it's going to be a fusion of a console and a handheld. So it sounds like they're taking the concept of the Wii U and taking it that one step further. Also, apparently it'll have what they say is industry-leading chips, which I guess just means they're actually going to put more effort into making it a competitive console tech-wise. Which isn't that important to me. I don't really give that much of a shit. But anyway, I digress. And also, in other news about this, Nintendo has started to distribute development kits to third-party developers.
That is so it looks exactly what I was going to say. They're actively looking for third-party developers.
Yeah, which is definitely, that's another thing they really need to get, more involvement with, because they've always suffered from not having, not always, but the last couple of generations, they've suffered from not having third-party support. So it's exciting that they're actively seeking that. And this news means that the console is possibly closer than we thought, because they're actively starting to develop it now. So
yeah, if they're talking about it and actually letting people know, we're not very far off.
Yeah, they just need to.
It's exciting.
Oh yeah, and they just need to advertise this better than they advertise the Wii U.
Yeah, that's the thing. But it's going to be drastically different. I mean, the Wii U is very, very different, but it was also very much the same. So people thought that it was more of an addition, not a new console, and that was kind of, I think, the downfall. They did not
naming it Wii U.
Enough. Yeah, they did not clarify enough that it was a new console.
Yeah. And so, but I think this time around, people will definitely understand. But I'm a little worried about the whole fusion of handheld and console. So, I mean, how's that going to work without it being basically the Wii U again?
Or being like PSP.
You mean the PlayStation Vita and PS4?
Yeah, like that kind of situation. But I don't know. I'm concerned because the PSP didn't really do. I mean, it did well enough. It got PSP Vita and stuff, but I'm nervous. But I'm gonna wait to see what they come up with. But Nintendo really needs a win.
Yeah. And I would love to see Nintendo back on the top of their generation.
They really need they need a home run here. That would be very nice. But I mean, what does it it's also maybe they're kind of getting away from more of the childlike aspect of it. I don't know, I always felt like Wii's were very, I don't know, I guess they're a lot more child friendly than PlayStation and Xbox.
They are, and Nintendo's they're aiming, possibly. They've always been aimed towards younger demographics. But if they're seeking third-party support, then maybe that means they're opening it up a little bit more to adult themes and, trying to get on the same level as Microsoft and Sony.
That's what I'm saying, though, but is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's a good thing. They can still do Mario and stuff, it's just they need to balance that out with, action, like first-person shooters and stuff, or RPGs, or horror games, things like that. And I even think they could still do something gimmicky with the controller as long as they have third-party support and tech that matches Microsoft and Sony, which I don't see why they can't do. They're a massive company. Just make your shit as good as the other guys. I don't understand why they can't do it.
Alright, point made. Jeez, point made, dude.
Sorry. That's my opinion on that. So let's wrap this up here.
It's time for the quote. So every episode we do to end with a quote. This week our quote comes from Patton Oswalt. A lot of nerds are unaware that they're nerds. The geek has thrown up his hands to the universe and gone, I speak Klingon. Who am I fooling? You win, I'm just going to openly like what I like. Geeks can be a little happier with themselves. Patton Oswalt.
This has been a production of the Bizzarp Network. You can find this and other podcasts and other articles at bizzarp.com. You can find all of our podcasts at soundcloud.com/bizzarpnetwork. Until next time, stay groovy.